Hi there and welcome to LDC CoreTools demonstration video number 3. In this screencast, we will take a section-by-section look at the Collaborative Module Designer to familiarize you with the full process for how a module is created within CoreTools. For a general introduction to CoreTools, please see demo video number 1 on our website, along with videos for other specific topics. We're going to start by creating a new completely blank module. But to save time, I'm also going to go back and forth from that blank module to a module that's already been completely built out. Let's get started. From the Teacher Workspace page, I can click Create Module and then Create from Blank to load a completely blank module into the Collaborative Module Designer. So what happens in the Collaborative Module Designer when I'm authoring a module is I edit it fragment by fragment by fragment all the way through Overview, Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4. So to get started, I will give my module some kind of title. And I want to demonstrate for you that I can either click Save to save that fragment and save my work so far, or if I just click to edit the next fragment or any other fragment in the module designer, it's going to automatically save that top fragment for me. So I'm not going to lose any of my work if I click off of a fragment that I've been editing. So pretty straightforward. I'm going to enter my module description here. It's a rich text editor. I can bold, italicize, use bullet points, numbered lists, and so forth. And next, I have my curriculum. Here's where I'm going to choose what grade levels this module is going to address, the discipline, and I can give the actual name of the course. So that completes the overview section. So let's take a quick look at a completed module, an actual module that's been edited all the way through the overview. So next we see section 1, what task. So let's see that from the blank module. I click Edit to start with a teaching task. So here's where I have to start by loading a template task. I can bring out the template task collection here and select the exact template task that I want to build from. In this case, we're going to go with template task number 24. And it loads that template task so I can fill in the blanks. I can add my optional question here and then fill in all the rest of the blanks to complete my actual teaching task. Let's go ahead and look at the one that's already been built out. And we see it here in edit mode, the question, and then after reading, all the way through to the end. So once I've completed my teaching task using the template task, I can add demands to it. And if I decide it wasn't the right template task and I want to start over, I can click Change Template and choose a different template task. What also happens in this section, of course, is the template task determines which Common Core anchor standards for reading and writing are going to be built into my module. So I can expand those out to see which ones are already built in, and if the way I construct my instruction and the rest of my teaching task, I might add other Common Core anchor standards for reading and writing that my module will address. Once I'm done with that, I just click Save. And once again, in the fully built out module, we see the entire teaching task and demands and Common Core anchor standards. What happens next is I have an opportunity to add additional standards. So in addition to any of the Common Core anchor standards, here's where I would add my state content standards or grade level Common Core standards. I would start by selecting the state that I'm in. I can filter the standards that I can choose from using this filter. And then I can pull up documents that contain standards for that state that meet those criteria. And then just go through and find the exact precise standard that this module is going to address. So I can do this one by one for as many additional standards I wish to add. And once I'm done, I'll see a list of all the state standards that I've chosen. So for this particular module, I added a bunch of District of Columbia standards. You can see them all present there. I can always go in and edit them if I decide I need to remove any of them. Additionally, of course, I can go and load more standards if need be. So once additional standards are done, what I see next is a list of where my texts go for the module. So what I would be doing here, I have 3 different options for how I add a text. I can upload a file, I can add a link, or I can add an offline resource. So if it's an uploaded file, it's a file I just simply upload and I give it a name. If it's a link, a URL to where that text goes, an offline resource. If it's a reading or a text that isn't available on the internet, it's not something that I'm able to upload, I can just describe it here and make a bibliography entry and add it to my module that way. CoreTools does have functionality built out to include a way to search for text through text repository systems, and that is a feature that's coming soon, and that would be a fourth tab up here. So let's take a look at our completed module and see the text that were added to this. Teacher added a reading packet. I can click it and I can take a look at it and see text by text what's in the student reading packet. And the teacher also listed a offline text there as well. So after text, I see my rubric. This is determined by the template task, the teaching task that I'm using. Since this is an informational or explanatory module, it's the informational or explanatory rubric. I can preview the elements of it here, because as a teacher, I want to be thinking about the rubric that I will use to assess my students' work that's going to come out of the teaching task before I design the rest of my module. Next, I have the ability to add, using rich text, a background for my students and an extension. So we can see that both here in the built-out module. So that completes section 1, what tasks. So now I get down to sections 2 and 3, what skills and what instruction. Even though these are separate intellectual activities a teacher engages in LDC Core Tools in the module designer, they're combined together in one section. Here's why. What I want to first do is name and define all the skills I need my students to develop to be able to complete the teaching task. So I can go through and work with the skills clusters that are preloaded here. I can add additional skill clusters, or I can rearrange and reorder the skills clusters. I can rename the skills clusters if I want to edit them. But the long and short of it is I'm going to go ahead and add one by one all the skills that I want to appear in my module. I can use a drop-down list to find some skills for each skills cluster that are commonly used in LDC modules. And some of those will come with pre-loaded definitions here, so it's already defined for me. I can edit the definition if I like. I can add that skill. I can always go back and edit it if it wasn't completely correct for what I want to do. I can reorder them. I'm also able to add skills by just naming them on my own. I just type in the name of the skill and type in my own definition. So once I've done this for all of my module, I will have my completed skills list, which might look something like this. The name of the skill and the definition, going from preparing for the task through the reading process, all the way through the writing process to the end of my module. So all my skills listed and defined. So that would complete section 2 of the module. Section 3, right there on top of it, would be adding mini tasks to each of those skills. I can add one, I can add multiple mini tasks. When I click add mini task, I can find one from the existing mini task library, which is something that we have discussed in video number 1, and we'll go into more detail in a later video as well. Or I can create a new one from blank. So I would click create from blank, and all the fields for mini tasks show up here. Product name, pacing, prompt, scoring guide, instructional strategies, and I can add attachments anywhere or add additional attachments at the end. And then I can save my mini task and it will load it there. So again, going back to the fully built out module, I can view here all the mini tasks that are attached to each skill. Just get a quick preview of them, the name of the product and the prompt that the student's going to have to complete for that mini task. Or I can look at the full mini task, including all the attachments that are going to be with it. But let's go ahead and put it into edit mode so we can see a little bit more about how this might work. For example, under reading process, active reading to note-taking, there's a mini task here called 3 Religions Evidence Chart. Let's take a look at that mini task. You can see the teacher named the product, provided pacing, listed the prompt here for students, a scoring guide that the teacher will use to then score the student work that comes out of that mini task, and then detailed instructional strategies down here with attachments including student handouts and worksheets and videos and so forth. You can click on these to open them up. So it's pretty straightforward how you add skills and then add mini tasks for those skills. And again, so we can see it in a full module, this is what a full module's instruction looks like. Literacy skills sequenced with instructional mini tasks attached to each one to bring them from preparing for the task through reading to transition to writing and through the writing process. Once again, there's different ways you can come up with literacy skills for your module, and there's different ways you can come up with mini tests for your module, and those are discussed in other videos and on our website. So lastly, we get to section 4, what results? This is a place where the teacher has the opportunity to upload student work samples. After scoring the student work that comes out of the teaching task at the end of the module using the LDC rubric, the teacher should score the student work, reflect on it, and then anonymize the student work that they want to share with their colleagues in LDC CoreTools. You click Add Student Work, and you're given the options again of either uploading a file or adding a hyperlink to a file. And you can categorize the work as either being advanced, meets expectations, approaches expectations, or not yet, the different levels of the LDC rubrics. So once again, you can choose the file and name it, and then categorize it and add it. Same thing with the hyperlink. Of course, right here, it makes sure that you are only uploading student work that has taken out any identifying information about the student. The final part of the what results section allows the teacher to put in their teacher reflection. There's all kinds of different ways teachers reflect on their module after they scored the student work, after they've revised the module, and so forth. So it's an open-ended space here for a teacher to reflect on the work that they have completed. So with that, a teacher has completed a full module. They have their full results section down here. It's student work samples, links to various things, a little bit more in our reflection here. And this will be now, of course, saved in my workspace. And it's a module that I could then share with my colleagues, or it's a module that perhaps if I submitted for jurying to the National LDC jurying process, if it were rated exemplary, it might be added to the exemplary collection. So that's going to conclude this for now, and you can check out the other videos available on the CoreTools page on our website to find out about other topics related to CoreTools. Thanks for watching.